Hello and welcome to WION World is One. I am Ghadi Francis, and over the next half hour I will get you all the latest updates, stories and news from this region that I call home, West Asia. Today our top story is about Israel's continuing clampdown on Palestinians. From banning Palestinian flags in public to blocking the easy passage of Palestine's foreign minister. It looks like the new government in Israel is increasing its clampdown on Palestinians. We tell you all the details in the coming report.
The Palestinian flag, something that became a common sight and gained global attention recently at Qatar Cup. But in Israel, there is no place for the Palestinian flag, says its new government. Intensifying the crackdown on Palestinians, Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has instructed the Israeli police to remove Palestinian flags from public spaces. Ben-Gvir heads an ultra-nationalist party in Benjamin Netanyahu's new government, and as a minister he oversees the police. The Israeli minister has made it clear that waving the Palestinian flag would be no less than an act of terror. Ben-Gvir said it cannot be that lawbreakers wave terrorist flags, incite and encourage terrorism. So I ordered the removal of flags supporting terrorism from the public space and to stop the incitement against Israel. The Israeli law does not outlaw Palestinian flags. However, it allows police and soldiers to remove the flags if these seem to be a threat to public order. The recent repressive order followed the release of a long-serving Palestinian prisoner. He was convicted of kidnapping and killing an Israeli soldier in 1983. The convict waved a Palestinian flag while receiving a hero's welcome in his village in northern Israel. The Netanyahu government's clampdown on Palestinians is being carried out in more than one way. Israel has suspended a pass easing the Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki's travel in and around the West Bank. Palestinian authorities claim that the foreign minister's VIP travel card was confiscated by Israeli border staff as he crossed from Jordan into the West Bank.
The card was withdrawn from Minister Riyad al-Maliki and he went through all the regular measures in the border crossing on the Israeli side. We emphasize that these measures will not stop us and will not stop the foreign minister and the Palestinian leadership from continuing our political and diplomatic legal efforts to protect the fair national legitimate rights of our people and to uncover the violations and the crimes of the occupation.
Confirming the card's withdrawal, the Israeli Defense Ministry said it was a part of the implementation of a government decision.
We have decided on several steps against the Palestinian Authority, which has promoted an extremist anti-Israeli resolution at the United Nations. These steps include sanctions against senior Palestinian figures, deduction of terror funds, and a halt to Palestinian construction projects in Area C, projects that go against explicit commitments that the Palestinian Authority took upon itself. We have founded a different government with a different policy, and everyone will see that in the future too.
The embargo comes in response to a Palestinian bid to involve the International Court of Justice in their decades-old conflict. Arabs in Israel account for around a fifth of the population. Most of these Arabs are descendants of Palestinians who remained within the newly founded state after its 1948 War of Independence. Palestinians have long debated their place in Israel's politics, balancing their heritage with their Israeli citizenship. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Before moving forward, let's take a quick look at what else is making the headlines across West Asia.
The head of United Arab Emirates National Oil Company, Sultan Al Jaber, is named president of this year's COP28 climate talks, prompting fierce criticism from environmental activists. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad wants Moscow brokered rapprochement for ending Turkey occupation in parts of Syria. Turkey reportedly summoned Sweden's ambassador in Ankara over a demonstration in Stockholm where effigy of President Tayyip Erdogan was hung from its feet. Iran's state media says Iranian-British dual nationals sentenced to be hanged for spying for UK intelligence once held roles at the top of Tehran's defense and security establishment. Israeli lawyers protest in front of Tel Aviv District Court against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his government's proposed judicial reform. In 2023 Hajj season, Saudi Arabia will host a massive number of pilgrims similar to pre-pandemic seasons. According to Saudi Hajj Minister, no restrictions including age limits this Hajj season.
Now in the top story, we spoke about Palestine in the middle and the north. Let's go to southern Palestine. Israel's blockade of Gaza has been crippling the healthcare system and the Gazan economy for years now. But in the latest, Gaza's Ministry of Health is saying that Israel is blocking the delivery of X-ray machines to its hospitals. Let's tell you more.
Gaza, a war-torn region with citizens reeling under constant aggression from its neighbors, is now struggling to fulfill its needs even for the most basic things. Gaza's health ministry has accused Israel of delaying the entry of several X-ray machines. The Gazan government says these machines are required to treat patients in the Palestinian territory. The ministry, run by the Gaza Strip's ruling group Hamas, alleged that their requests have either been rejected or the delivery delayed. The Gazans have made requests for 8 different types of X-ray machines and spare parts to repair existing equipment in the past 14 months. Gaza's health ministry director says that the equipment is funded by international relief and medical institutions for the hospitals in the coastal enclave.
In the whole world, there is no such thing where those who want to buy medicine or medical equipment do not get a permit from the occupier. Why is it that when Palestinians in the Gaza Strip want to buy medical equipment, they have to wait a year, and in many cases, after waiting, they get an Israeli denial? This is a huge thing.
The situation at hospitals in Gaza City has deteriorated to a level that patients are kept waiting for as many as 45 days to have an X-ray done.
The occupation should let the X-ray machines into Gaza. We have to wait 2 to 3 months to get an appointment for an X-ray. So if there are more machines, it will be better. The occupation is using this against us like a form of torture. By preventing the equipment from entering the strip, patients will get sicker and die.
Gaza is facing a chronic shortage of hospital beds and medical equipment. The blockade, which is limiting the amount of goods crossing the borders, has crippled Gaza's economy and healthcare system. Israel, together with Egypt, maintains a blockade around Gaza, citing security concerns. The Benjamin Netanyahu government says it is worried about terror groups commandeering such machines for military purposes. Israel's military-run liaison agency, coordinator of government activities in the territories, has accused Hamas and other militant groups of systematically and cynically taking advantage of humanitarian and civilian shipments of equipment and goods for terrorist purposes. Gaza, however, refutes Israeli assertions about the medical equipment having dual uses. The Hamas group that rules Gaza is deemed a terrorist group by Israel and much of the West. Hamas took control of Gaza in 2006, a year after Israel withdrew soldiers and settlers. West Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
3 Kurds were shot dead in Paris in 2013. Almost a decade later, 3 Kurds were killed in Paris in December 2022. Now, the Kurds say about these killings that they are nothing but Turkey's state-sponsored terror on Kurds all across the globe. We tell you more.
Thousands hit the streets in France to pay tribute to the 3 Kurdish activists murdered in 2013. The protesters gathered to demand justice for the decade-old killings in March. The demonstration has now become an annual event.
The ultimate objective of this demonstration is to ask for the removal of the defense secrecy because there have been several governments in France since 9th January 2013. And since then, at no time have the governments really taken up this issue and not removed the defense secrecy in order to have progress in this legal case.
The protest came 2 weeks after an eerily similar triple murder happened on December 23rd last. The 3 Kurds were shot dead at the Kurdish Cultural Center in Paris, which is a short distance from where the 2013 killings took place.
If the 2013 case had been solved, maybe the 2022 incident would not have happened. So the Kurds are on their own. France must be accountable to the Kurds.
The organizers said at least 25,000 people from all over Europe had joined the rally. However, the Paris police put the figure at 10,000. Protesters carried banners with pictures of the 2013 victims, and slogans such as "the Turkish government has massacred 3 more Kurds" echoed on the streets.
The fact that so many people have participated in this demonstration in this way, to participate in this right, shows us once again that the hope is not over and that we have not lost hope. In any case, we have been pursuing this demand for 10 years, and sadly, there have been 3 other murders in that time. And that is why the fight must be even greater. Our demands must be even stronger.
The southern French city of Marseille witnessed a similar public outrage. According to the local police, some 800 people had gathered to mark the protest. The protesters demanded justice for the killings that happened a decade ago.
What are we asking for? We just demand for justice to be done. And that's what it's about. And that when there are political assassinations in Paris, that we know who ordered these and that the perpetrators are prosecuted, and that we realize the extent of the tragedy that has occurred.
On the 9th of January 2013, 54-year-old Sakin Kansız, a founder of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, was shot in the head. 2 other women were killed in the same way, 28-year-old Fidan Dogan and 24-year-old Leyla Selames, at the Kurdish Information Center in the 10th district of Paris. PKK has waged a long insurgency against Turkey. The Kurds believe that the Turkey establishment was behind the 2013 and 2022 killings. French prosecutors claim that the suspect in 2022 killings was a retired rail worker. The suspect allegedly had admitted to wanting to murder migrants. For the 2013 killings, a Turkey maintenance worker at Charles de Gaulle Airport was due to go on trial for this attack. But he died from a brain tumor in December 2016, shortly before his trial was due to begin.
The murderer died in prison in 2016 or 17, but today we also have the sponsors who are behind these assassinations. The idea is above all to judge the sponsors and to prosecute them so that all the light can be shed on this triple murder case.
But the victims' families claim that the probe has been hampered by lack of access to secret documents, which they say France has refused to declassify.
We are experiencing what we experienced 10 years ago. Namely, 3 Kurdish women were murdered and that the investigation, unfortunately, could not succeed, despite the work of the investigating judge, who pointed out clearly the role played by the Turkish secret services. Unfortunately, the instigators of this assassination have never been investigated, have not been brought to justice.
Kurdish activists in France believe that both the killings were a result of a terror act orchestrated by Turkey state, a claim that Ankara has always denied.
We are here to ask for justice and truth about this case that took place in 2013. We are asking the French state to clarify this case, to shed light on it, because we know that the involvement of Turkish secret services had been proven during the legal procedures. But despite this, French authorities have put a large part of this case to defend secrecy, which meant that the case had not been cleared up.
Turkey, the United States and the European Union consider the PKK a terrorist organization as it fights for increased autonomy for the Kurdish population in Turkey. Bureau Report WION, World is One.
Iraq is hosting the 25th Arabian Gulf Cup. From a chaotic opening ceremony to its neighbor Iran protesting the tournament's name. Here's a report about what made the headlines across the region during the Arabian Gulf Cup in Iraq. Let's take a look.
Arguing, jostling, and complete chaos. The video is from the 25th Arabian Gulf Cup being held at Basra International Stadium. More such videos emerged on social media, showing men in the VIP section arguing and pushing one another. According to reports, a brawl kicked off ahead of the opening ceremony of the Silver Jubilee edition of the tournament. The tussle reportedly forced the Kuwaiti delegation to leave the stadium. What miffed the Kuwaiti delegation more was the fact that one of their members could not enter the stadium amidst the chaos. Member of the board of directors of the Kuwait Football Association, Abdulaziz Al Samhan, told Kuwaiti media that the delegation left after Sheikh Fahad Al Nasser, who represents the country's emir, could not enter the stadium. It does not end here. Samhan added that he was robbed as people jostled while he walked from the stadium's entrance toward the VIP section. The ruckus did not affect the matches, which went on as scheduled. But the poor security arrangement for the top officials of other countries, that included even the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, may come across as a major embarrassment for the Iraqi government. Kuwait is not the only country Iraq may have managed to upset. Its neighbor, Iran, too, is not happy with the regional championship. Iranian state media reported that the country has protested to Iraq over the use of the name Arabian Gulf. With the 25th Arabian Gulf Cup, Iraq has re-established its presence on the regional football map. This also marks the first major sporting event in Iraq in at least 4 decades. The opening ceremony was held amidst thousands of excited fans, ahead of the first match between Iraq and Oman. The sports event may act as an opportunity for Tehran to boost ties with Arab states. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And now to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is hosting the iconic Dakar Rally, a sports event that captures the interests of motorsports fans from across the globe annually. We'll take you through some of the stunning visuals from this 2-week event. Let's take a look. That's all from our side for this episode of the West Asia Post. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup, always bringing you the most recent updates, stories, ground reports from the most volatile region in the world. Until then, stay safe. I am Ghadi Francis from Lebanon, and you're watching WION World is One.